Peace. So they want me to get into some shit that I have that I've still had since before my journey started, even though I've had so many things taken from me. And one of them is this transmitter. You see the time, the channel is 106.9, and Caesar gave me this, the little Russian boy that helped me get on a Greyhound to get down to LA, because like I said, I just took a bus to Portland, walking on faith, didn't know what was going to happen next. And I got to that airport, I didn't have no money to get no ticket nowhere, and he helped me get on the bus. He helped me, he told the bus driver that I was on the bus with him, and they would let me on, you feel me? He told him I lost my little transfer thing, and they let me on, and that's how I ended up getting to LA. And he didn't go all the way to LA because he said he couldn't go to LA because they was having problems with him because he's like real spiritual or whatever, and I don't know, he could see spirits or shit, because they were telling me that the fuckers in Seattle were doing experiments, and I didn't want to be in Seattle at that time. They were telling me that they were doing experiments on kids that have like this psychic type power, and that they were it was good that I got the fuck up out of there. And I was telling him I have to go to LA. He was like, man, fuck LA. But I was like, I need to go. He was like, okay. And then they want me to go into where I got this lighter from. This Man on the Moon lighter. So I got this lighter from this Iranian dude. I ain't gonna say it right. He was some Middle Eastern dude. And I had got off at the bus stop. This was like after the stones fell from the sky, and I was like roaming around LA on the buses. And it was like one night I got off the bus, and it was this area. I still can't really tell you where I was, because like I said, I don't really remember hardly none of this shit. It's just that so many weird things happened at that time. I kind of remember that. You feel me? The weirdest shit. So I remember that day because the motherfucker gave me the lighter, and I was like, oh, that's a fucking Man on the Moon. That's Kid Cudi. And then he started talking to me. He gave me some pepper spray that was from another country, and he gave me a bunch of other little weird things, because like I said, he was homeless, and he was like living on the streets, and he was doing weird shit. And he basically told me that they could smell you feel me, and you have to change your scent up, and if they try to fuck with you too hard, spray this pepper spray, and it's gonna make them not be able to smell you, whoever's tracking your ass. And then he ended up getting on the bus with me, and we got on the bus, and he had this little card, like a thank you card type thing, and it didn't have nothing on it. He opened it up and he started writing, and that's when he wrote whatever that shit is that I posted talking about the wedding. He wrote that, and I was sitting on the bus, and a Noble Joe Ali jumped in my body, because he was telling me he had Noble Joe Ali spirit in him, this guy, you feel me? He was talking to me, literally talking plain English, and it was weird as fuck, but I knew what was going on because I have been having people talk to me through other people. And he did a marriage ceremony, so they had me write down these names. That's where I got that name, Ramon and Jesse Miscudis, because they said they wanted Scott's name to have an S on it for whatever reason, so they was like Miscudis. And then they wrote down Jennifer White. I don't know, that's like one of my names, I guess, or something weird like that, because my stepdad told me his real name was Joseph White. I don't know why. And he also told me his ass is Willie, because Willie came to me through a motherfucker at that time too, and he was some motherfucker smoking crack, and he came to me at a bus stop, this real person. He was in the person's body, and he started talking to me, and he was saying he was like the keeper. Okay, he's coming back to me. He told me he was the keeper of the information, and he said something like, we started this shit, and all of this shit comes from one person or one thing, because I guess, like if you were like the creator God of everything, you would have to create another person or another soul, and then that soul, you and that soul create other souls, and so on and so forth. And he was saying that there's a room where all this information is, and Willie is the one that has all this information. And Willie was in my stepdad Joseph Gordon, something like that. And then he was saying my stepdad Joseph Gordon was also Archangel Raphael. And that's why he was my dad, so he could give me information. Now, they're telling me this shit is fucking weird to me. Like I said, I remember it because it was crazy, but it was like over a year and a half ago that this shit happened. And he was pissed because I got really crazy or something. So he was basically like, bitch, we married, where I'm your fucking husband or something like that. And I'm a gangster of some sort. And I'm the one who got the answers to all this shit, and I'm not gonna unlock none of this shit. You have to like get to a certain level of knowledge, and then I'll start releasing this information to you. And he was showing me like this room, like a big giant library or something, and he had all this information of all these different names and how they tie together. And it was just weird as fuck. And so that Iranian dude was just standing there on the bus after he gave me that little sheet of paper with the date. He put some weird date on there. It was not even the date it was. It was a whole nother fucking date. October something, 15th of 2015. It was like, I got to look at that paper to see what it said. And then he had some other words that was written in another language, and he told me how to read it from right to left instead of left to right. And I still couldn't read it. That's why I still have it, but I didn't know what the fuck it said. And then Noble Ali had me start writing names in this book, and all these names, I wrote a lot. There's other writings. I just put that particular page on there. And it was like automatic writing. I started writing in different handwriting and shit, and different people start coming through. All kind of different people. I think Martin Luther King. I can't think of who else this fuck came through. I have to go back and review this shit, but a bunch of motherfuckers came through. And they were saying, we're married. And they married me, Tupac, and Nas. And Nas said he wanted his last name to be Williams or something. And me and Nas had like 2 children. Me and Tupac had 1. I think me and Nipsey had 1. And then me and Kid Cudi had 5. And it got something to do with them fucking stones that came down at the sky. And because them stones had came down, and I had went to that bus stop. I guess they want me to get into this. I went to that bus stop, and I was sitting at this bus stop. I had my bags and shit with me, and then they jumped in my body, and they all started sitting there with me, and they started smoking cigarettes through me, and they were smoking it the way they like to smoke it, and they were just in my body. They were being so nice and talking to me so nice, and it's showing that they really loved me, and they were all together. And then they were having me doing all these weird poses, like, you know how there's like this some people have some drawings of this man that's like sitting with his arms stretched out like this, and all these different poses and shit, and shit. They had me doing it. It was like they were in my body, like forcing me to do these poses. And they were hard because you had to like get up. I had to get up off of that bench and then start doing these poses. And then some of them, well, I was down on the ground, so I was like on my knees and doing some weird bow with my knee bent, and then my fucking forehead was like all the way down on the fucking ground and shit. And then we start talking, and then they had me, and I was smoking weed, and they had me smoking weed, and they start signing their name with the weed in my mouth. So they had me like doing not saying cursive, and I was like, look at this big B, oh my gosh. They had me doing cursive writing, writing their name out with this smoke, right? And then they start basically having sex with me, and it was weird because it started out with Nas, then it went to Tupac, and he had me write his name, and then it went to Nipsey, and that was the first time Nipsey had ever done anything sexual in my body. And I just remember being like, damn, because they was kissing me. And it was like I was on top of them, riding them or something like this. And they were moving me. It was like they had their hands on my hips. And so they were all having sex with me differently, at different, different. They all had their turn. But they were moving me. They were moving me how they like to get down, how they like to fuck or whatever. And then when that part was over, I had got up. And I remember feeling like I had these goggles on my eyes. And I started looking around. My eyes were closed. And I started surveying this place. And it was called Tata Universe. And I think I did a video of where I was. Because the building that was there ain't there. And it was somebody who was... Because they had me digging this hole over there too. And it was like... Inside the hole was like a fucking piece of hair. And a fucking cigarette that was smoked. It was like a hole that was right by the building. And inside that hole was something in there. And they said it was Eric Gardner, I think the dude who got killed. They said it was his cigarette and his hair. And I was like, what? Because around the time that them stones came out the sky, they had me start walking around pointing to shit, right? Pointing to things on the ground and calling out names like I was saying, this is the person who had touched this and blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, what the fuck is this? You feel me? And I was just doing it. I was just obeying it. And that's around the time that all that fucking singing and shit was in the sky. Todd Smoke and Ramon, King Cudi or whatever. And at the time that I did this, I'm gonna walk down here. I'm on 59th and Madden. I'm gonna walk down here to Slauson. At the time that we were doing all this weird shit and the surveying of this energy. Oh, so let me finish what happened after I smoked a little weed and was writing these names, and then they were saying what territory did they run of the universe or whatever was created. It was like Tata world, and then in that world it was like the four of us or four of them, and then I was like the middle person. It was like a 5-pointed star type thing, not a 5-pointed star, like a cross, and then in the middle was like the 5th point, and I was the 5th point or some shit like that. And then after we created that, and they all had us, they signed their name, and they had sex with me. It was good too. It was beautiful. And then Kid Cudi was at the top, and then me and Kid Cudi, or Scott, and his name, he had a different name too. It was his name, but it was like a different version of it. It wasn't the Ramon Jesse Muscudis. It was something else. Some other name, but it was Scott. It was like King Scott something, and then he wanted my name to be Queen Ta Smoke De La Rosa, De Jesus De La Rosa, or something like that. It was all, he wanted me to, Scott, King Cudi, or whoever the fuck it was having me write these names, and it was pertaining to that day that shit happened at that bus stop. And I was over in Westwood Village when this shit happened. At the bus stop, I was in Westwood Village. The stones came down somewhere in Highland and Hollywood, like maybe within like 7 blocks of Highland and Hollywood. And then the other incident where that man gave me this lighter, and Noble Jew Ali jumped in him and had him writing that shit. And then Noble Jew Ali jumped in me and had me write these little marriage paperworks with the names. It was like another area I was in. But oh Lord, I don't want to forget, because I be forgetting shit. So we did our little thing. Oh, and so there was another thing that was created. So all these not all these men, my husbands were doing their little thing with me, having their time, having sex with me or whatever. And then Scott was in my head, right? He was at the Crown, and he started having his time with me, and it was like hella weird, because it was like he was showing them like I could really make this bitch do some shit, and she really loved me, and I'm really fucking the shit out of her, or some shit like this. And then and then we made Tata Universe. So this is the other part. So we made Tata Universe. It was just like he and I, and he was telling me like this is something we had done before, but whatever's going on had got out of our control. Oh, and then after we got done, so it's just me and him. We're sitting on the bench, and I had went before I even got to that fucking park bench. We were sitting there, and I remember we created this place where whatever we had created, it was created. And then we were sitting on a bench, and it was like some quesadillas, some kind of quesadillas, and it was some shirt or something. So we were sitting on the bench, and me and him were talking, and we were in our house, and we were talking. It was like we were in Tata Universe or whatever, and we were sitting on the couch talking. And it was like that bench was a couch, but it wasn't. But in the vision or whatever I was having, it was like it was a couch. And we started talking, and he was talking about how much he missed me, and I'm his fucking wife, and don't ever forget it type shit, and and then we ate this food, right? Because we sat and I ate this food that was there, and I had like a beer. I had two what the fuck was it? Bud Lights, right? And my eyes were closed. So I'm sitting at this bench with my eyes closed. I didn't drink one Bud Light, and I ate this food, and I just got through with all this little magical sexual creating of this universe or whatever the fuck. And I just remember when I opened my eyes, I felt like there was somebody there. Somebody had came, like somebody was in that building. It looked like it was closed. Somebody had came out that building, and they had my eyes closed, and they had came. I felt like Scott was there at that time. I feel like all them niggas were somewhere close around or something like that. That's why shit went down there. It was controlling my body so easily. And then I remember Scott saying it's just me and him. And I was like, well, shit, what we gonna do is just me and you. And then he got up. No, and then I got up, and I was like, oh, somebody at the door. And it was the three niggas. It was Tupac and Nipsey and Nas. And they came in, and they sat down too. And we all just started having a good time or whatever. Not doing nothing sexual. We were just like enjoying our space. And then I got up and I went somewhere else. Went to another area. I can't remember because, like I said, it was a while ago, and hella crazy shit was happening. Because it was like after my arm had kind of healed. So maybe it was like a week or two. It's about 2 weeks after them stones came down. That happened. And then about a week after that, or maybe even a couple days, that's when that man gave me that lighter, and we had that event. And they were saying that Scott need to come get me. And then I remember some man coming to me, some guy kind of saying like, oh, I'm in control. And I knew it was Scott in this person. It was the white man, or he was mixed. He was like some mixed dude. And I was standing at a bus stop, and he was basically like, they can have you, or something like that. Like, like he didn't really want me, but he understand that he in this position, but he really didn't want me in the physical. Like he didn't like me or something like that. And he know that these other brothers really like me, and they really want to be with me, and they just waiting for me to say fuck him, and they gonna step up and fuck with me on a real level. And I just remember my feelings hurt and upset, and cussing that motherfucker out because he was trying to say something like, we can go somewhere and do whatever, and then you can go do whatever you want to do. We ain't got to be together or some shit like that. And I remember just being like, what the fuck is this? I'm out here going through some real shit, and this nigga is trying to negotiate whether or not he really want to be with me or not. And it just made me feel worthless. Not worthless, but like he felt like I was worthless. Like he didn't understand the seriousness of whatever was going on. And so I was upset about that. And then I remember Genuine coming to me, talking to me. And it was weird because they be making me throw away stuff. Like how somebody made me throw away that damn wristwatch and the ring. And I know it was Satan. Because recently, when I listened to rock music, Satan jumped in my body. It took over my ass. And I guess it's a man. Because they think it's a woman, but it's not. They were like something like, I'm his wife, basically. And, you know, they said I'm his wife. And it got something to do with Tupac. And something to do with how they dogged me out. And he was pissed. Because they were saying that Tata is basically Tupac and Tupac. Me and Tupac. And they were saying he's my twin. And they were saying that I was worshiping Nipsey and that was a sin. And they were saying I was worshiping Selena. And they were saying I was worshiping these people. I was like, well, how am I worshiping these people? Hey. I don't know. I ain't been back there. Okay. Okay, be easy. Okay. Oh, Lord Jesus. But, they were just telling me that something about this nigga. He was trying to do something other than what the fuck he was really supposed to do. And it upset me. Because I'm like, I'm literally out here going through all this pain. And, you know, because I was in physical pain. Like I said, people were hitting me. I was homeless. And then something broke my fucking arm when them stones came down. And so they were telling me in this rock music that people try to portray that Satan is so bad, and Satan is not bad. It's just that people are fucking pieces of shit and they don't want to do the right thing. They would rather rock or ride for something that's not even that important. And when it's something important, they don't give a fuck. And they were saying in the music, in regular English, these motherfuckers have been laughing at you. You've been out here doing all this shit and they've been laughing at you because you sending them messages on the internet. Some of these messages look crazy because I got different people in my body. I got either them in my body or I got different people. But like I said, the stuff that I put on the internet is only like 1% of what the fuck actually went down. And that's why I keep on telling you motherfuckers that Eric Garcetti knows exactly what the fuck was happening, because they have recordings of these fucking videos. You know, they have videos of me dancing, because I was literally dancing all over motherfucking LA and on the bus, having all these spiritual things happen to me. And I could tell these motherfuckers was watching me, because of certain shit that would happen to certain people that would come up to me. I was like, motherfucking Eric Garcetti is watching me, because somehow he didn't find out what the fuck going on. And he watching me, and these motherfuckers is sitting back watching this shit happen. And they keep on saying stuff like, you create your own reality. Whatever you speak into existence becomes your reality. And I'm like, that's a fucking lie. Because I would be dead right now, motherfuckers. Because I've been praying for God to kill my ass so I can get out of this misery. So if that shit was true, everybody would be rich. Everybody that's living in the hood, they praying for money, they ain't getting it. So it ain't about fucking speaking shit into reality, and whatever you think is gonna be what goes on around you. It's like, that shit is so weak to even say that shit, because at the end of the day, black people in America is in slavery. So if black people's in America is in motherfucking slavery, and they all poor and fucking fucked up in their own country, what does that say? That you motherfuckers is praying for your own fucking benefit and not for nobody else's but your own. Because if you can pray for you and it works, how come you can't pray for everybody? Right? Yeah, why the fuck you ain't praying for everybody? I am. And I actually did the work. And that's the other part. throughout these years, I've been actually doing paperwork and putting the paperwork in to where if I did get in a position of power, I can give everybody their shit back. I can give everybody their land back because nobody's concerned about that. And that's why I'm disgusted with the Moors, because they're only praying for their own benefit. And everybody has this viewpoint of their ideology and their knowledge. It's kind of like how some people who are Christians say, only people who follow Jesus is going to be saved. Everybody else is going to hell. And it's kind of like that don't make no sense, because people all over the fucking world that practice different religions, and they're not just going to die just because they don't practice your fucking religion. It's the same thing with the Moors. And obviously it's the same thing with these fucking celebrities that's in these damn secret societies, because they are on a higher level of knowledge, meaning they're having way more spiritual events happen to confirm what the fuck is going on. And so they've been praying for blessings and they've been getting them. But at the same time, they've been getting tortured because they don't realize these blessings that you're praying for is just for you. It's selfish. Or you or your family. If you pray for you, your mom, your mom, your dad, or your kids or your wife, you're still praying for yourself. You're not praying for world peace. You're praying for you and your fucking family, which is you. Especially if you're a man, because you're the head of the household. And then at the same time, y'all motherfuckers know that somebody's stealing my money and stealing my dad's money, and you don't feel no kind of way about it. You feel like I need to go through some extra shit. And now you realize my dad been in your ass, blessing you, making this shit that you asked for happen. And you thinking, good morning, you thinking it's God, like some other kind of God, and it's my dad Nab. And he's like, I made all this shit possible for you guys to get all of these things, so that when my daughter finally woke up, you would be able to help her get what she needs. And you motherfuckers is trying to figure out a way to help me by making me sing or dance or fucking figure out these codes and shit. And it don't work like that. Because I done prove I know the code, and I prove I'm aware of what the fuck going on, and I prove that I'm not going to do it the way you guys want me to, because for one, my dad doesn't want me to do it that way, and two, why the fuck should I have to? That's why everybody's still in slavery, because you motherfuckers want to take the easiest route out, and you don't want to fucking take everybody with you, because there's a lot of people around here that have different spirits in them, and they want to come, because like I said, you're really not yourself. You are a vessel. Your body is a vessel, and your experiences on this earth have to deal with the different people that are in your body and what's being manifested on that level. So I guess that's what needed to be said to kind of clarify, because all this shit sounds freaky and sexual, but it's not. Because they done told me when they doing this sexual shit to you, it's just a way for them to get into your body more. Because like I said, when you're married, all that means is that they can control your body at a high level. So I want to say this real quick, because it came to my attention yesterday at Christmas. I was watching videos, and I seen a video of Jay Stone and I guess the brother Rempaw, and they did a video right here on 63rd and 8th Avenue in front of this fucking apartment building that I live in. And it was saying, the name of the song was Already Won. And they did it last year. So sometime last year, while I was out here, because I was over there on Crenshaw Slauson a lot before I even got into this apartment, they came out here and they did a video right in front of this building, and I had to double check. I said, what the fuck? This is where the fuck I'm living right now. How the fuck they know? So this is further fucking proof and solidation of where I'm at. And I guess they still waiting for Scott to come pick me up. They waiting to see how long he gonna take to get his ass out of his fucking body. Or not out of his body, out of his fucking mind, and come get my fucking ass, because I ain't really wanted to be saying where the fuck I'm at. And they let me know, bitch, ain't nobody coming around here to fuck with you. So don't worry, because ain't nobody watching your videos anyways. But I'm always on the same fucking block. I'm always in this area. You can see what the fucking street signs say when I pass by. I just don't be posting the exact building that I live in, because I don't want nobody fucking with me. You feel me? So I thought it was so weird. And that's why I say Nipsey's always showing me that he's running this shit. and they're mad because they want to run it. And it's like at the end of the day, you are all running it because we all got married together. At least us 4. And it all started with Scott because he was the first one that was considered to be my husband on some other level shit, because there were some other things that happened. I just ain't fucking said it because it was like me and him by ourselves that happened after that. After his concert, some things happened. And it was around our fucking wedding. Because sometime in November, October, November is when we got married. And we be having anniversaries. Like this November, he had me, he came to me, his spirit, at least Kid Cudi's spirit came and had me do a milk bath. Some kind of milk bath. It wasn't really a bath, it was more like a milk shower. And then maybe like 6 months ago, Nipsey came to me and he did a bird bath on me. Hi. Hi, pretty. Oh, you are beautiful. Hi. Oh my God, you're so pretty. You're so pretty. Hi. It's a girl. She got titties. But yeah, he came to me and he did whatever they call a bird bath is, because I didn't know, because I only do shit. I went to the store and there was some limes on sale. It was like fucking 20 limes, and he had some mangoes and some bananas and shit on sale. And I took that shit up to Santa Monica, and I had a bathing suit on, and he had me take the lime and put it all over my body and basically do a whole bath in lime. And after I did the lime, I took, and with some grapes, I had some grapes, I took the mango and rubbed the mango on my body, and that shit dried up all hard, and I had to rub that shit off. And I was in front of everybody. I was right on the corner. When you get off the train and you walk down to Santa Monica, where's that pier, I was sitting right there in that little area where there's a bench there, and I sat there. Then I did that, put all the fucking lime and shit on me, squeezing over my head and shit. And then I put the mango on me. And then after that shit dried up, because it was like I had to rub it off before it dried up, because the shit was like making me sticky to the motherfucker. It was like my skin was sticking together and was hurting. Then he had me put on the banana. I put the banana all over my body, all in my hair, everywhere, every single where, and I had a bathing suit on. Matter of fact, I think I have a picture of the day that I actually went up there, because he had me stand on Crenshaw and Slauson. And these old men took a picture of me. I was in my bathing suit standing right on Crenshaw and Slauson. And then after the banana, then I took the grapes, because there was some grapes, and I put the grapes all over my body, and it made me just shiny as fuck. And I kept that shit on my body for like 2 days. And they said it has to do with something with like resetting the frequency, because motherfuckers can smell you. And then Selena jumped in my body and made sure right before I got to the house, she jumped in my body to do something. I don't really want to talk about that part, but so for those that's wondering why I'm so in love with these niggas, because they're doing shit to me and for me, and they're letting me know that it's spiritual, and they let me know that they're watching out for me. And the person, like I said, the only one I know really that's alive is to Kid Cudi and Nas. But Kid Cudi's the one that's got my fucking thoughts. Because whatever upper room, because we created upper room. That's what happened. Me and Kid Cudi created an upper room right after that concert. And I had rented a hotel room, and we had some steak. And Bud Light, smoking weed and shit. And he was up in that room with me. And some Infinity cologne. And then we went and had breakfast the next day at Denny's, and I have that on video. I love him so much. But that song Upper Room is about the fact that there's a room that we're in that nobody else can hear what's going on. Not even the husbands. They can hear, but they have to be invited into the room. I guess that was kind of the whole thing about telling the story about when we created Tata Universe, Tata World, and then Tata Universe. And Tata Universe, we was sitting there chilling me and him sitting on the couch chilling. And then somebody knocked at the door, and it was Tupac and Nipsey and Nas, and we let them in. They was in the room chilling with us. So I guess ever since then, everybody been kind of creating their own reality. But it started with me and Scott, and he and I have an upper room that can't nobody hear what's going on. So he's going to tell people what's going on in that room based on what needs to be revealed, because he's my protector to protect my thoughts. So a lot of the shit I'm saying it because somebody's asking. It ain't no fucking weird shit going on, because everybody's keep on saying like, oh, well, you're revealing too much information. It's like I'm revealing what I'm supposed to, because I wouldn't talk it unless I'm supposed to say this shit at a particular time. This is what the fuck happened. And Scott is controlling it, whether he knows it or not. I think he does, because he made that album, and he's letting motherfuckers know he's gonna come get his. He says, I'm gonna come get mine, because this is a fantasy. It's a fairy tale. It's like the greatest love story ever told. And I'm telling him what the completion of this love story is going to be. You have to come get me. In real life, just come get me. Like, literally roll up on me. I don't give a fuck if you're famous or not, nigga. Bring the police and shit with your ass like you do everybody else. Pull up in motorcades, nigga. And come get me. It'd be like, what they say, what Tupac say? Fucking get on the fucking news, nigga. Be on the news saying you done came and got this bitch for whatever reasons. And when the time is right, they'll go back and watch all my videos, and they'll be able to see they match up to fucking songs. They match up to a lot of shit. But they didn't let you know where I'm at. I didn't let you know where I'm at. And the confirmation is that they made that video last year. I think this was in the video too. For some reason I remember seeing that. But they were right on this block. How the fuck did they know I was going to be here? I'm here in a program. How the fuck did they know I was going to be here in this fucking property? Because they did the video right here. Why? I'm going to come over here to this block. Just let me know, don't be scared of anything. Because I'm really not scared. But I think somebody been trying not to let me really just put it out there like that. But they want me to show this scene, because if they don't say where they're at on the video. And Nipsey did a video too, where they talking about, I'm gonna make it home to my baby, because they were on 63rd. You see? This is the same place that they were at. Jay Stone and Rumpel was right here on this corner doing that video for Already Home. And that's where I live. So come get me, motherfucker. Because I don't really like putting this shit out here. And that's one of my daddies saying, you motherfuckers better come get this bitch.